Hi kids, it's me, Mom, and here is your cooking lesson for the kids, number 1. I have a flour bowl. That's your first step. And so what you are going to do is mix it with some salt and pepper, and I just do some sprinkles into it. If you really want a measurement, half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper. Then you're going to have your egg wash or egg mixture, and it's 2 eggs, and I put a little bit of splash of water. And what that means is this: if you have a bowl and you have some water coming out, I just go 1, 2 into the bowl. Then I take a fork and I mix it all together. Over here is making just for you and your dad tonight because we're an empty nest. So I put a cup of panko in there, and then I put about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese in there, or till it looks kind of like mixed in really well. For this I only use, because I was making 2 again, a half a cup of flour with that salt and pepper, okay? So first is to put the chicken in the flour, then you dip it into the egg, and then you cover it fully into the mix. But we forgot to put in the red peppers. Be very careful with red pepper. You only really want to pinch and then mix it on in. Okay, maybe 2 pinches actually, and then mix it in. But don't put too much, or you're going to have too much spice in your mixture over here. Then I come over here, and you need a can of diced tomatoes. Put it all in there, and put a pinch of pepper in there too. Not too much. And then you come over here, and I have a breast that I cut in half. So this is one breast from Kroger or Aldi's, a company that gives you a pretty good piece of meat. So cut it in half. You're going to want to dry this before you pound it thin. You also want it to come to room temperature because it's going to cook a lot better. So getting all that water, as much as you can, off of it. I'll even flip it. And just pat it with a paper towel. Okay, move it over to the other side and pat it. Then you have your meat tenderizer, and you want to pound this pretty thin on both sides. Get it about a half inch, quarter inch, half inch thick. More like a quarter, just more like a half inch thick, I think. As long as it's flatter than it was. Okay. And then you'll want to rub your paper towel again and get all that moisture off of there. Then I take my little Molden salt container. You can use any kind of salt, like kosher is the best. This is Molden salt, and it just has nice big flakes. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it here on and just take some pepper, sprinkle it here. But you're not done yet. You're gonna need to really embed it into the meat, and then you're going to flip it and do the same thing. But please make sure you wash your hands before you touch the salt again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. Anytime you touch this chicken, guys, you're going to want to go and wash your hands. All right, and I use the antibacterial because we don't want to cross-contaminate anything. So my hands are nice and clean, you can see. I'm going to go back into my salt container, and I'm going to sprinkle some more. Put some pepper on it, and if there's too much, you just kind of brush it off a little bit. Just pat it in. Let it sit for a little while. I'm gonna go wash my hands again, and then we'll go back to the sauce. Okay, just sprinkle in a little salt, kind of like that. Maybe 1/8 of. You don't want to put too much in it. I just normally just take a little sprinkle. That normally does the trick. I already put the pepper flakes in there, so we're not using black pepper, we use the red pepper. Then we're gonna put basil from the garden. growing great. I got 3 things of it, guys. You should see it. You'd be amazed. And then I have some garlic. I would say about 2 garlic cloves if they're large, but these are kind of small. So I put 4. So you're gonna, if you don't have your mincer, so it crushes the garlic, you can actually buy it in the supermarket, already crushed for you. And then basil you can buy in the supermarket too, if you're not growing it on your own at your college. But I'm just gonna chop this up right now and mince it. Mince that garlic. That's what minced garlic looks like. Andrew, that's what minced garlic looks like. Okay, so now I'm gonna put it all into the tomato. Okay, if you're using cast iron, you don't want to go any higher than the medium for any kind of frying pan or cast iron. Just let it heat. It heats up. You just have to be patient. You don't need it to be boiling. You don't need it to be high. It's gonna get there. So I'm just stirring all of this up now. And it's just we want it to kind of cook down. You see how there's a lot of liquid in here? This needs to be started first so that you can get the liquid cooked down, okay? So if you just want to do your sauce and keep it on that medium, start prepping first, then that's what you should do. So you should always get this thing started first and then get your other things ready to go. I just did this for the filming. But I would normally start my sauce first because it's got to get down a little bit to more of a solid consistency. Okay, so it tops over really well. All right, and then your chicken is coming to room temperature better now. Okay, it should have already been at room temperature, but if you were delayed in that, then it's there. But room temperature means it's sweated a little bit. You're able to dab off all that excess water. And now it's going to be ready to be dredged. And we can go ahead and do that while the sauce is going about, and then we'll just cook it when the sauce gets ready. You can also get, if you want noodles, you can prepare your noodles at this time as well. So noodles follow the instructions on the package. But remember, Mom puts oil, olive oil, and a little pinch of salt when she boils her water for her noodles. And you wait till the boiling happens before you put the noodles in the pot, okay? I just sprinkled a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt, okay? This you can put on high because you're boiling water. The only time you can is in a stainless steel or a stock pot that you can push it all the way to the high if you're boiling water. Other things like this, guys, medium. It's not a race. It's not a race. Take the time and then save your pans, okay? Or otherwise you'll be replacing your pans. So this kind of metal pot can go to the high. These guys go here. And before we cook, we want to warm up this pan. This is a hex-clad pan, but any other frying pan can do fine. You still want to only hook it up to the medium. No further. Just let it heat up, and over time it's going to get hot and ready for you to fry. Okay, this pan I don't have to put any liquid into it at the start, so it can heat up to medium. Some other pans like cast iron will need to have some oil in there first. Do not put a cast iron pan without having some kind of oil in there. But this one's a hybrid, so this one actually is allowed to go to medium without any stuff inside it, okay? Chicken assembly line. Chicken goes into flour, goes into egg wash, goes into panko breading with Parmesan cheese, okay? So take the first one and just make sure it's completely coated. Not all the chicken has to be completely coated. Sprinkle it on if you have to. But it needs to be totally coated, and it's not overly wet, so it's really sticking nice to it. See? See how nice that is? And this is going to help. You want to, contrary to popular belief, you should definitely put it in to the flour first. Okay, then dip it into your egg wash and get that nicely coated. Okay, get it fully covered. Let's see, if I see a little bit of white, I'm going to come in there and get it. Okay, and then take it over here, cover it fully, just kind of sprinkle it on, pat it in. I can see the cheese on it. I can see all the glistening features on that. There you go. Get it nice and stuck on there. And then you're going to take it and put it over here. I can't remember if I told you to put like a pinch of salt in this too, but you need to do that as well. Okay, just a pinch of it, not too much. It's boiling. It's time to put in the spaghetti. Don't forget to turn the boiler down, because if not, you're going to have an overflow. So you don't want it to stay, you want it to stay rapid, have a rapid boiling, but you don't want it to overflow. So you've got to control it somehow. So as soon as it reaches that boiling point, taper it down, throw in your spaghetti. And you're going to cook it for like whatever the package says, which is about 8 minutes or so. Alright. While your noodles are cooking, it's time to heat up your pan. Again at the medium. So it'll get hot. When you get to a boiling over here, you can cut your temperature down a slight bit. Okay. So it can start simmering. I also have my burrata cheese out. I'm going to slice that shortly. Not too soon because it will melt, but closer to after it's done cooking, the chicken's done cooking, because then you can just put it right on top. But I am going to get it ready to go. Time to start cooking. I need a little bit more oil. And I put the oil in a hot pan. I'm just going to let it heat up just a little bit before I put the chicken in there. Let it glisten some, and then you're going to want to put it in there. Maybe like a minute or so after you put it in. Just kind of watch it kind of smoke a little bit. Get ready to go. I see it glistening. Glistening means it kind of like looks like it's rippling a little bit, and then that's when we're going to put it in there. See how it just kind of naturally goes. Push it down onto the pan, and you're going to want to use tongs to flip it. Give it a bit of time. You're going to watch the chicken. This is very important. When it kind of starts coloring about midway, this is why we also hammered it down so it doesn't take us long. Give it some time. You'll start seeing it browning on the ends, and as it comes up, it turns a little bit white. You can look through the batter, you can start seeing it whiten, and then that's when you flip. Okay, I'm starting to see the white. If you can see, like right there, how it's turned over with the white, it is time to flip. You have a nice golden brown on the cheese is melted in there nicely. You've got a nice crust on it. Now you just need to cook this for about another 2 minutes or so. I'd still look at the breading on the side just to kind of make sure that it gets cooked. It looks like I do need to add a little bit more oil because it's so thick at that part. It's not getting cooked very well, so I am going to add some more olive oil, just a little bit. So I'm going to actually kind of target where I think it's a little bit high and needs some more oil, like right there. That way it can cook that breading. We don't want to have raw breading. We don't want to have raw breading. It's still cooking. If you do need to get like some of the thicker parts, you can always bend it a little bit and get that part down there better where that breading was. That's why it's really important to like make sure you pound it to that like half-inch thick or quarter-inch thick that you can. So that gives it some nice. I think I've been cooking it about 2 minutes. I kind of just play it by sight, you know, making sure that it looks like it's getting cooked and browned on the sides. The majority of the cooking was done when we first put it in and left it there for a while. So it's almost done. It has a smell too, and you can almost just know it's ready to go. And flip it over, yeah, it's perfectly fine. There we go. I'm just gonna let it rest for a little bit. I'm gonna put the next one in. You may need to add a little bit more oil to it before you put the next one in, but you're gonna cook it just like I did and showed you the last time. You're gonna wait until that starts, you can start seeing the browning on the side, and you're gonna wait to start seeing that pink turn white. You can actually see the white through the little cracks, and then you'll know it's ready to flip. So you'll have to watch it. I have the burrata cheese ready to go. I'm just gonna slice it, and then we're gonna put that layer of that over the whole meal when it's done. If you don't have burrata, you can always use a mozzarella bowl. It's sliced, and you're just gonna lay it over top when everything's put together. This one was a little thinner, so it's actually ready to go. If you can see the brownness on the bottom and the whiteness in the crevices, and then flip it over. It's ready to go. Your sauce is cooked down, it's more chunky. Ready to go. I always taste it in case it needs some more salt. The salt is good. Maybe a little bit more salt, actually. Let me try it again. I know I'm going to put a little bit more salt, and I actually think I might put a little bit of black pepper just to make it just a little bit more punchy. So a little bit more salt, just a touch of pepper. Hard to believe this is one chicken breast, and look how big those sizes are. So be kind of considerate when you do your portions, because the Kroger and the Aldi breasts are super big. All right, so let's put some sauce on it. I put like a cup or 1 spoonful on each. The pasta is underneath everything. The burrata cheese is on top, and Dad's made the salad, and everything's ready to go. Enjoy it, kids. Love ya.